Good evening. Welcome to South Asia Newsline. I'm Lipakshi Khurana. Here are the top stories we're tracking for you on Monday, the 28th of March. India's Foreign Minister Jaishankar assures Sri Lanka of its continued cooperation amid economic crisis. Pakistan's opposition tables no confidence motion against PM Imran Khan. And residents in Bangladeshi capital rush to buy goods as price hikes affect Ramadan preparations. And now for all the details, India's Foreign Minister S. Jaishankar is on a three-day visit to Sri Lanka as the island nation grapples through its worst economic crisis in decades. Jaishankar on Monday met with top Sri Lankan leadership, including President Gotabaya Rajapaksa, and assured India's continued cooperation and understanding. Gotabaya expressed his gratitude to India for the financial assistance provided to the island nation to deal with its economic crisis.
Indian Foreign Minister Subramaniam Jaishankar met with Sri Lanka's President Gotabaya Rajapaksa on Monday after arriving in the Sri Lankan capital of Colombo late the previous day. Taking to Twitter, Jaishankar said reviewed various dimensions of our close neighbourly relationship, assured Gotabaya of India's continued cooperation and understanding. During the meeting, Sri Lankan President thanked Jaishankar for assistance in form of $1 billion credit line for procurement of food, medicines and other essential items amid the island nation's worst economic crisis in decades. Sri Lanka is struggling to pay for essential imports of food and fuel after a 70% drop in foreign exchange reserves since January 2020, led to a currency devaluation and efforts to seek help from global lenders. Rajapaksa is set to fly to Washington, D.C. next month to start talks with the IMF International Monetary Fund for a rescue plan. Earlier, Indian Foreign Minister also met Sri Lankan Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa and held discussions aimed at bolstering bilateral ties. The discussions were followed by some notable events including signing of agreement on supporting Buddhist culture and heritage and virtually inaugurating the Jaffna Cultural Centre constructed by India. Jaishankar is on bilateral visit to Sri Lanka and will also participate in the BIMSTEC ministerial meeting on Tuesday.
And several trade unions, including banking staff, on Monday began a two-day strike in parts of India to protest proposed labour laws and privatisation. The strike on its first day partially affected banking services and movement of trains in some states.
Hundreds of members of various trade unions, including bank employees associations, on Monday blocked trains and took to streets as they began a two-day nationwide strike to protest government policies, which they said would affect workers, farmers and people at large. The demands of the unions include scrapping of the proposed changes in labour laws, privatisation of any form, and the national monetization pipeline. They are also demanding increased allocation of wages under rural employment schemes and regularization of contractual workers.
हम इसका मुखालिफत कर रहे हैं और मॉनिटाइजेशन प्रोग्राम जो सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट लिए है उसका मुखालिफत कर रहे हैं। हम प्राइवेटाइजेशन के खिलाफ, मॉनिटाइजेशन के खिलाफ और वर्कर्स के हुकूक के बारे में, क्योंकि 4 लेबर कोड्स लाकर पूरे कानूनों को जो मजदूर वर्ग के कानून ही ये सबको ख़त्म कर दिया है, तो वर्कर को एक स्लेव बनाने की कोशिश कर रहा है सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट.
The bank unions which joined the strike said they are opposed to government's move to privatize 2 public sector banks as announced in Federal Budget 2021-22. They also rejected a reduction in service charges. The strike on its first day affected essential banking services partially, as only a section of employees of public sector banks chose not to report for duty. However, the functioning at most private sector banks went on normally.
Well, in news from Pakistan, opposition leader in Pakistan's National Assembly Shehbaz Sharif on Monday tabled a no-confidence motion against Prime Minister Imran Khan's PTI-led government, blaming him of poor governance and mismanaging the economy. The House will begin a debate on the motion on March 31st. The voting is expected to be held between April 1 to 4th, reports suggest. PTI has 155 members in the 342-member National Assembly. In recent weeks, more than 20 lawmakers have deserted Khan, leaving him short of the minimum 172 that he needs for a simple majority in the parliament. And moving on, residents of Gilgit-Baltistan held a protest recently over government's apathy to provide any substantial relief so far to people who were affected in the December 2021 earthquake in the region. They blamed there has been no provision to build homes, schools and other public infrastructure damaged in the calamity, which displaced hundreds of locals.
Scores of locals in Gilgit-Baltistan held a protest recently over government's inaction in providing a substantial relief to the people who were affected by a devastating earthquake in December 2021. A political activist said government just provided a few kilograms of rice with and sugar and a tent each to the earthquake-affected people. But there has been no provision to build homes, schools and other public infrastructure damaged in the calamity, which displays hundreds of residents.
यूनियनगंज और उसके मुल्का इलाके 100% ज़लज़ले से मुतासिर हो गए हैं। इनका कोई एक मकान या घर भी रहने के काबिल नहीं है। इंतजामिया की तरफ से अब तक की जाने वाले इक़दामात में 27 दिसंबर से अभी तक जो हमें एड दी है, इमदाद दी गई है, उनमें से औसतन 2 किलो चावल, 2 किलो चीनी, 10 किलो आटा और उसके अलावा कुछ कंबल, रज़ाइयाँ और एक टेंट दिया है।
Locals in Gilgit-Baltistan have time and again accused Pakistan of meting out a stepmotherly treatment to the illegally occupied territory, claiming the agenda is to keep the region underdeveloped.
And in news from Afghanistan, the UN Security Council has called on the Taliban to reopen schools for female students in Afghanistan without delay, expressing deep concern over a decision to extend closure, citing lack of standardized uniforms for girl students. The Security Council, in a statement, reaffirmed that all Afghans, including girls, deserve the right to education.
The United Nations Security Council on Sunday called on the Taliban to reopen schools for female Afghan students without delay, as it expressed deep concern over the group's announcement to extend their closure, citing there was a lack of standardized uniforms for female students across the country. In a statement, the members of the Security Council reaffirmed the right to education for all Afghans, including girls. The Security Council also asked Deborah Lyons, the UN Special Representative for Afghanistan, to engage with relevant Afghan authorities and stakeholders on the issue and report back on progress. Over the past weekend, dozens of female students and teachers marched in front of the Education Ministry in Afghanistan's capital, Kabul, raising slogans that education is our right. High schools for Afghan girls were ordered to close hours after they were reopened on March 23. Leaving many students shattered.
طالب از زنی باسواد میترسه. طالب از این میترسه که اگر زنی باسواد شد یک خانواده باسواد میشه. اگر یک خانواده باسواد شد یک اجتماع باسواد میشه. وقتی یک اجتماع باسواد شد هرگز انگیزه تروریستی به خودش پرورش نمیده.
Earlier, the United States, because of the decision, abruptly cancelled meetings with the Taliban in Doha that was set to address key economic issues. Activist and Nobel laureate Malala Yousafzai at an international forum meet in Doha on Saturday said the Taliban's key demand of international recognition should not be met if they do not recognize the human rights of women and girls.
And with holy fasting month of Ramadan fast approaching, Muslims in Bangladesh have begun their preparations for the religious festival. However, residents in capital Dhaka said the prices of essential goods, including fruits, have started to spiral, affecting their preparations. Local media reports suggest the increase in prices has seen the Bangladeshi government offer commodities at subsidized rates for low-income residents.
Local residents in the Bangladeshi capital of Dhaka said the prices of essential goods had increased on Sunday, affecting preparations for the upcoming holy fasting month of Ramadan. The increase in prices has seen the Bangladeshi government offer commodities at subsidized rates for low-income residents, according to local media outlet The Daily Star, quoting Commerce Minister Tipu Munshi. Crowds of people were seen chasing after a government truck on Sunday.
বাজারে অনেক দাম বেশি তার জন্য আমরা গাড়িতে এত কষ্ট করে মাল নিতে আসছি আমরা সরকারের কাছে আবেদন জানাই সে যেন আমাদের দামটা কমায় দেয় আমরা যেন এই কষ্টটা না করে লাগে রোজা রমজানের দিন মাথাও শেষ কষ্টে কলজাটা ফাইটে যাইতেছে
The cost of fruit, mostly imported and in high demand during Ramadan with many Muslims, including them in fast-breaking meals, had also gone up according to wholesale traders. One attributed the rise in prices to the soaring global oil prices.
বেশি ইম্পোর্ট কম চাহিদা বেশি এজন্য ক্রেতাদের মধ্যে একটা হুলস্থুল শুরু হয়ে গেছে মাল কেনার জন্য এজন্য দামটা বেশি হয়ে যাচ্ছে ক্রেতারা মাল কম পাচ্ছে এজন্য দাম বেশি হচ্ছে এজন্য খুচরা বিক্রি করতে গেলে ঝামেলা হচ্ছে আর বাইরে থেকে মাল কম আসতেছে রমজানে তেলের দাম বেশি তারপর আপনার এই যে যুদ্ধ বিগ্রহ রাশিয়া ইউক্রেনের যে একটা সমস্যা এই জন্য জাহাজও আটকে যাচ্ছে আর এসব মাল তো বাইরের সব মাল বাইরে থেকে
During Ramadan, Muslims abstain from food and drink from dawn to dusk, a discipline believed to better their souls. Muslims in Bangladesh and other South Asian countries are expected to spot the Ramadan moon on 2nd of April.
And Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi wrapped up his 3-day Nepal visit on Sunday, where he held talks with top leadership, including Prime Minister Sher Bahadur Deuba, and discussed bilateral relations and mutual cooperation. The two countries also inked 9 agreements, including one on cross-border railway, but none of the agreements were related to China's Belt and Road Initiative, with the Himalayan nation asserting that it will not accept any project that comes with strings attached.
Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi was on a 3-day Nepal visit over the weekend, where he held talks with the top leadership. A total of 9 agreements were signed between the two countries after delegation-level talks between Nepali Foreign Minister Narayan Khadka and his Chinese counterpart Wang Yi on Saturday, in wide-ranging areas including economic and technical cooperation, and on the ongoing Chinese projects in Nepal. However, none of the agreements were related to China's BRI, Belt and Road Initiative, with the Himalayan country asserting that it will not accept any project that comes with strings attached. Nepal's foreign ministry was silent on the country's commitment to implementing the BRI framework agreement that Kathmandu signed up to in 2017. Beijing has been trying to push some projects under the BRI in Nepal, especially in the wake of Nepal's ratification of the MCC, Millennium Challenge Corporation, a $500 million American grant for building electricity transmission lines and improving routes. Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi and Nepali Prime Minister Sher Bahadur Deuba agreed at the meeting that both sides will make good use of the Nepal-China Joint Consultation Mechanism to complete existing key cooperation projects and explore new areas of cooperation. Both sides attended the completion ceremony of the Pokhara International Airport via video link, which China handed over to Nepal. The Chinese Foreign Minister on Sunday called on Nepali President Bidya Devi Bhandari and held a meeting with former Prime Ministers Pushpa Kamal Dahal and KP Sharma Oli as he wrapped up his Nepal visit.
A snow car racing competition in the picturesque Sonmarg area in India's Jammu and Kashmir attracted scores of enthusiasts on Sunday. The event aimed to build a local motorsporting and off-road community in the region.
A snow car racing event competition at famous tourist destination Sonmarg in Ganderbal district of India's Jammu and Kashmir attracted scores of enthusiasts on Sunday. The event, organized by Kashmir Off-Road Organization, aimed to build a local motorsporting and off-road community in the region. Adrenaline junkies were seen having a good time as they drove their vehicles amid the picturesque snow-capped hills.
जो हमें अभी हमारा कोविड चल रहा था, लॉकडाउन था, बाकी चीज़ें थी, तो इसे निकल के एक स्ट्रेस, जिसे कहते हैं स्ट्रेस बस्टिंग, तो स्ट्रेस रिलीव करने के लिए बहुत ही अच्छी एक्सरसाइज है ये और इंसान को बहुत से ड्राइविंग स्किल्स आते हैं.
The season for adventure sports in Kashmir Valley lasts from January to mid or end of March. Organizers said events like these not just promote opportunities for local talents, but also hone their skills to participate in national motorsporting events.
Well, that's all we have for you from South Asia this evening. Now our viewers can watch the show on SouthAsiaNewsline.com. You can also visit us on Facebook.com/SAsiaNewsline and follow us on Twitter @SAsiaNewsline. That's all in tonight's edition. We'll see you same time tomorrow. Good night.